conception that we turn into mindless, bloodthirsty beasts is ridiculous.
Just gonna blow your mind, okay?
Sure, we're ready.
This thing's recording, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, can you believe that? This footage is gonna be amazing.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2018 found footage horror film Living Among Us. The film is written and directed by Brian A. Metcalf and it stars Thomas Ian Nichols, William Sadler, James Russo, Esme Bianco, Andrew Keegan and John Hurd. Now, the film follows a documentary film crew. We've got three people, essentially. You've got someone with a camera, someone doing sound, and a presenter stroke interviewer. And they essentially are going to document some vampires. It turns out that vampires are real, and they have been discovered. And they are running a PR campaign, I suppose, to let everybody know that they are not the vicious beasts that they've been made to believe through the movies and this kind of stuff. They're saying essentially it's a disease that they've got and they have to learn to kind of cope and live with it. So they've got William Sadler's character, Samuel, who's like the head of the vampires, going on all these news networks, you know, doing the PR campaign. And they agree for this documentary film crew to come and film and document their lives for the general folk out there to kind of alleviate people's fears. So this documentary crew, film crew, turns up, starts interviewing people. It all seems pretty normal, and then some pretty creepy, disturbing and dangerous things start happening, and they realise that they have got a fight on in order to get out of there with their lives intact. Right, what are my thoughts on Living Among Us? Now, this is another found footage film. I've not seen this one before. Again, this is another one that was suggested to me on that found footage fan page thing that I'm on. So yeah, I was definitely interested in checking this out. I like vampire films. There are some really cool stuff out there. And what interested me to this is obviously because it's about vampires, obviously because it's found footage, but it's actually stacked as well with recognisable names and faces. So we've got William Sadler, obviously, that everybody knows. He's been in everything from Shawshank Redemption to Die Hard 2. You've got Thomas Ian Nichols, who I believe is also one of the producers, and he was in the American Pie films. James Russo, who's been in everything in the 80s, certainly, and John Hurd, who you'll recognise as well, who's been in a lot of things over the years. I'm not sure, did he pass away? Yes, he did. Passed away in 2017. So this probably was one of his last films because this was released in 2018. So it's got a lot of faces in there that you'll recognise and names. So it kind of feels like it's got some kind of budget behind it, this one, and it does. To be fair, it's a well-made and well-polished found footage film. It's got that going for it. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like someone has literally just picked up a camcorder and started filming and then, turned it into a movie. When I've seen some found footage films over the years that feel like that, you know what I mean? And that's not a bad thing because Blair Witch is very much like that, but that had, lots of scares in it as well. So this is actually been put together quite well. Now, the biggest issue by far that I have with this film is its tone. It's described or it's listed on IMDb as a horror comedy. Now I take issue with that because the 80% of this film is very serious, takes itself very serious, and especially the last 20 minutes, as you're expecting found footage, very, very intense stuff, frightening. Jump scares, all this kind of stuff. But the other 20% of this film is very tonally off because there is humour in this film and it just feels like it doesn't belong. There's one character in particular, Blake, one of the vampires, who doesn't feel like a real person at all. He feels like this fanboy sort of thing. You know, he's geeking out because this documentary film crew's there, and he's almost like showing off that he's a vampire. And some of the things that he does, for me, it ruins what could have been, I think, a better film than it actually is. This lighter comedy touch that's been added into the film, the element of humour, tonally destroys this film. It didn't need it, and it harms it, in my opinion, because it's nowhere else in the film. Nowhere else. There's some very, very serious stuff happening in this film that doesn't warrant or shouldn't be taken light of, if you like, in regards to the tonal shifts in this film. So that's my massive issue with this film. And for me, it lowered the score, the tonal shifts here of comedy. From this one main character, from this one main vampire, Blake, he was. Everybody else was kind of pretty serious. Every other character in the film was like steadfast and fairly serious. There's another vampire that doesn't say a great deal, who just kind of wears his hoodie up, who's not very skilled in social graces. You know, he's borderline comedy character at times, and it does raise a lot of questions, this film, if you actually sit and think about it. You know, these vampires are running a PR campaign trying to let the general public know that they're not dangerous at all, and they invite this documentary film crew. So this documentary film crew goes with no safeguards at all, which is stupid. And then if these vampires are trying to present this certain way of living and certain way of presenting themselves, they make quite a lot of errors here. Number one, like I say, they've got two vampires there. You've got Blake, who, you know, basically enjoys showing off the fact that he's a vampire, and he basically sees humans as prey. And you've got another one, that other one I mentioned in the hoodie, who is not very skilled in regards to mixing with humans or people. You would think that if they were trying to present this PR campaign to the general public, they would have picked their best, most adjusted vampires in order to present a certain way. It's just ridiculous. And then there's a ceremony that they invite them in to see, which is basically, it's a human sacrifice, and you're just kind of like, hang on a minute. And they basically say, you're not allowed to film this. Well, why show it them then? Number one, why show it them? And number two, why did you not check that they had like mini cameras on them? Because, you know, this is a documentary film crew, and they did, of course, have mini cameras on them that couldn't be seen by the naked eye, sort of thing. So with so much at stake, you know, these vampires kind of drop the ball here. And then their ultimate plan at the end is kind of like, well, we're never going to let you live and leave anyway. And you're just saying, well, what was the point of inviting them? So, I mean, the whole story really is flawed massively, but the concept works. You know, the idea that vampires do live among us, and they have now been discovered, so therefore we, as the general public, would obviously want to know more about them. So therefore, you know, documentary film crew going and interviewing vampires would be a natural course of action, sort of thing. So the concept is good. As a found footage film, it works for the most part. It does what it's supposed to do. And then the last 20 minutes are manic, and I really enjoy the last 20 minutes. I did enjoy chunks of this film. I thought it was done very well for the most part. Like I say, it was just the lightness and the change in tone and the humour that they added into it just really harmed the film, in my opinion, and it could have done without it by a long way. So yeah, but I would definitely recommend it. I think if it had made a few tweaks and changes, this could have easily been a 7.5 out of 10, in my opinion. It was very, very good for the most part. So yeah, thanks for checking out this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I will, of course, be back with plenty more content on the channel very, very soon.